We tell our kids what we need from them, but what do you need from your parents? Do you know what your kids need from you? I'm talking to all you parents, all you dads out there, because as parents, a lot of times well, all the time, we tell our kids what we need from them. I need your room clean. I need you to do your chores. I need you to do your homework. I need you to pay attention at school. If they play sports, you want them to play hard. But do you know what your kids need from you? And I'm going to ask my son and see if those things that he says he needs fit with what typically they say all children need. The top 5 things that kids need. If you Google them, this is what comes up. What is 5 being important, but not as important as number 1? What's the number 5?
Are we talking about like buying stuff?
No, just period. Like I need you to listen to me, or I need you to
Not
believe.
push me into a sport that I don't want to play. Like, you haven't done this before, but like not like in the future. If I'm like, I'm done with playing basketball. Like
Okay,
pushing me into playing basketball.
okay, I can dig it. So don't force you into doing something just because I want you to do it.
Yeah.
All right, that's number 5. That's number 5. We're gonna see where that lines up with our,
Google search.
yeah, our Google searching the 5 top things that people all, the typical things that parents see if that lines up.
Yeah.
Number 4. What's the number 4 thing that you would think that you would say?
Like this, like willing to spend some time, like playing some games or like this, like watching wrestling or watching basketball and stuff.
Spending time. That's important. That's important to children. They say that love to children is time. It's not just about money, or it's about the time that you spend with them. All right, we cooking with grease right now. No, the third thing that you think is important.
Like not taking off of what, like if your dad was strict to you, like not carry that tradition on. Everything that happened to you, you don't have to carry that on. You can
Ooh.
start new traditions.
Wow, that's a big one. So how can I put that? Not
Not
not bringing the past or bad things that happened to you into you and your children's relationship.
or like a shorter word would be like not to bring the old generations into the new generations.
What do you mean by that?
It means like, well, like your my grandpa might have did stuff differently in that generation of time, but this is a new generation of time.
Right. So being able to adapt to times,
Yeah.
yeah, getting with the time. Not being old school parents,
Yeah.
not being old school, realizing what's going on today, and not parenting like your parents parented you. You hear that? You gotta. So the second thing, we got number 5, we did number 4, we did number 3. Got 2 left.
Okay. Number 2 is probably like, there's some kids who are like, yeah, I'm really into sports, and like there's also kids that are like into gaming. And if you were a kid that was like in sports, and if you're like an older parent with like a teenager, and you didn't have like PS5s and stuff, you don't have to like make them like say, hey, you don't have to like basically just support what they're doing. If they like gaming, and like I'm not saying you gotta learn how to game to play with them. I'm just like let them game, you know,
So
like
support
support what they're doing.
support what they're doing. I mean that goes a long way, right? That
Yeah,
you really want your parents or your dad to support what you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, yeah, I agree because I can remember when I told my father that I wanted to, you know, do music or something like that, back in the day, and he told me, "Oh, that's just a fad. That's not gonna last." Well, that was 50. Hip hop has been around for 50 years, so you were wrong, Dad. It wasn't a fad. So you shouldn't do that.
yeah. You shouldn't say that. Some like there's always a
Like that's
chance.
like saying, "Oh, gaming's a fad. It's not gonna last. Don't don't do that." No, don't ever do that because you don't. You just a parent. You don't know everything.
Yeah, like I bet you Mr. Beast dad said. No, his mom actually said you can't get anywhere with making YouTube videos. He's the world's most popular YouTuber.
Yeah, so yeah, don't do that. Support your kids. Don't think you know. A lot of times when parents say that, it's because they want you to do things that they didn't do. So you saying you want to do this. No, I don't want to do. I want you to do this thing. Well, if your kid doesn't want to do that thing, it's not gonna get done by them. So you got to support them for what they want to do. The number one thing that you think that parents need to know, because like we said, we tell our kids what we need from them, but what do you think your parents, what do you need from your parents?
Well, I actually have six things.
Okay, well let's go.
So so the
Number
last,
one B and then a number one A.
yeah, number one B is like, well, they're kind of both attached. Is helping your kid find what they're into,
Ooh, that's a good one. Keep going. Keep going.
finding what they're into, and then the number one
Hey,
A is like you notice, oh yeah, he's really good at drawing. Like maybe help him out, buy them some drawing stuff, and like they're, oh yeah, they're really good at baseball. Like maybe start taking them to a park and like training them, because like sometimes they don't really, like dads don't really agree with, sometimes not him though, dads don't really agree what the coaches are teaching you. So like take them to a park, help them out, coach them yourself, you know.
yeah, yeah. So one B was what? One. What did you say? One.
Like 1B was helping your kid
Oh
find,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. One B is. I think one B should be one A, but one B helping your kids find what they're good at. That's your purpose. For all the fathers out there, you think your purpose is this or whatever. No, your purpose is to help your kid, your son, your daughter find what they're here for. That's what your purpose is. A father is just that. You're supposed to help your children go farther than you.
And like, I'm not saying you have to do it early. I'm not saying that you have to say like, hey, I'm gonna make you find what you're into. No, like
No,
you can like
you
kind of like hide it up or something.
you supposed to. You're supposed to, as a father, you're supposed to sit back. You're supposed to watch and see
Yeah,
what they're good at. What they're good at. Per example, his older brother, my older son,
is
play
into music.
he played sports too. He wanted to play sports. He played basketball. He had a good jump shot, but what he really was good at and what he could do with ease to this day was make music. It was nothing. So I just told him, hey man, this basketball is cool. It's cool. Just a lot of crap that goes along in that. So, but he said, I want to start doing music. And once he started doing music, he just took off. So, but that's because he saw me and my friends and my partners making music. So, a lot of times you gotta you gotta be the right role model, just like
Yeah.
this guy right here. I seen that he was really into YouTube, that he was good on camera. So you know what I said? Let's start a podcast. So one, he's on this podcast, the Raising Carter podcast, but eventually he's gonna have his own thing, doing his own thing, doing whatever he wants to do. But that's what you have to do as a father. So
And also, you can also, like, there's also people out there who have multiple hobbies. Like, I'm really into the podcast, and I also like basketball. So, like, can't just go up to their kid and like, for example, if he goes up to me and says, hey, you gotta pick one, basketball or podcast. That's a lot of pressure to pick. Like, I really like basketball, I really like doing the podcast, I don't know which one to pick. So, like, kind of also let them ride and, like, share it out evenly so you can really see which one they're better at and which one they really like.
that's good advice, because then you can have, but then you can really show them. You can have like receipts, like okay, like the basketball thing, you're not, but look how great you're doing over here, or what I mean. It's really like he says, let it ride out and let them see for themselves what's really working, what's not working.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those are 5 things that this 8-year old, soon to be 9-year old, 8.5, whatever, is saying that he needs. And I'm sure if you talk to your kids and you let them see this video, you watch this whole video through from number 5 all the way to number 1, they're going to agree with a lot of things this young man has said. So,
And, like, maybe, like, with that, like, the one hobby that took off more and ride more, that can be like, and the other one, it can be like your little hobby thing. Like, let's
yeah.
say I grow up to be an NBA All Star or something. We can still have our own little, like, podcast.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Nobody just people love more than one thing, but a lot of times to be successful, you got to pick the thing that's working. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you can't have other hobbies or other interests. And as a father, this podcast was all about letting you know, yes, we always say what we need from our kids. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Have you ever asked them what they need from you? That was this episode of the Raising Carter podcast. You got any parting words you want to say to the people?
Yep. And remember, just sit back and see what your kid is really into.
That's good advice. And if you like this video, check out the playlist right here of all the other videos me and my son Carter, the star of the show, the reason why we started this podcast. And we out. Peace.
And also check out Ramon's music.
Yep. KingMeasyBeats.com.